Hello YouTube, welcome back to Video Gamers channel. We got me, VGH, and we are in it with Palworld's TCG simulator with all of the cards. This will be part 1 of as many parts as needed to get through all of the different types of cards. In this set, we're going to be going over red. The next video will be blue, green, purple, and colorless. So there will be 5 total parts to go over all of the different cards. Basically set reviewing all of the cards that are in the game thus far in the Palworld TCG simulator. Once again, though, if you guys didn't see my first video, the simulator is updating daily with more and more cards that have been revealed or found from the Palworld TCG. So, obviously, this may not be a final list, and if anything does get added, I will make sure to do a short and/or a bonus video on all of the newer cards that were added. This video is starting up on 7/3, July 3rd, so that way you guys have an idea of when the video goes live. First things first, we're going to start off with the Alarm Bell. This is all the red cards, like I said before. And the Alarm Bell is a 3-cost 1100 that states, stand all pals assigned this turn. What? Until the end of your turn, your pals cannot be assigned and must attack as much as possible. Okay. Like I said, this is a review, so I'm going to be going over all the cards and kind of give my ideas as to what I think these are meant to do. Red is usually meant to be more of an aggressive type of deck, so I suppose the idea for the Alarm Bell is that I can pay 3, play it to get it on the board, have a pal assigned to it, so they have to go through the 1100 extra defense before being able to get to the pal, but it makes my pals all attack by force, instead of being able to make choices. The idea for red is to basically go face and win the game as quickly as possible anyway, so it doesn't change the strategy of red too much by adding this card, but it also does basically make all of your pals vulnerable to getting counterattacked or not being able to have any blockers, I suppose. So I don't know how good this will be. Do I think it could be like a kind of a control type variant red? Sure, but I don't know if that would change too much. It just kind of exists. I don't think that it would be used too much. Next up is Arsox, the Burning Spoils, which is just a 5-cost 800 that says get 2 wood. Okay. I don't think it's going to be that crazy, but it depends on how good wood is, really, I guess. Axel's Strategy. So this is, the strategy cards are a bit unique and difficult to use, but I do like the fact that they use the tower raid bosses. Which says deal 1500 damage to 1 pal, or stand up all of your pals, X is equal to the number of gears. Not sure what a gear is, but we're going to find out, I'm sure. Or all opponent pals with 5 or more costs cannot block. So it has a early game ability to, I guess, an early, mid, and late game ability with the standing all of your pals. Because, you know, you could just attack with everybody and then just stand all of your pals and attack with everybody again. I don't know how to get gears or how hard they are to get, but it exists. But then the other option is obviously your opponent can't block. So if your opponent has a bunch of, you know, quick triggers to get a whole bunch of really strong guys out, you can just go, you can't block, and attack face. You know, just go in and hope for the best. And then finally, of course, with the just deal 1500 damage, a lot of pals are, you know, 8 costs I've seen or less have, you know, 1500 or less attack. So you can just use that to just get rid of a guy. Pretty good. The Lucky Pal, Blazeamut, the Molten Sovereign. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's only allowed to be 8 Lucky Pals in your entire list. So, out of the 50 cards you get to play, only 8 of them are lucky. So, the lucky ones do matter. Blazeamut being 8 cost 16 is very, very good. Its ability is also choose one of your opponent's pal and just deal 1000 damage. So, the idea obviously being is bring it out, take something out, and then you have a 16 that can go face for 3 strike. Very, very powerful, as per most of the fire types, is just play big dude, punch face. Very simple strategy, but effective. Next up is the 7-cost Blaze Howl, the Hellfire Defender, which is an interrupt card. Okay, that's good. Yep. I think interrupt cards automatically are good, just because of the fact that stopping any attack is very prominent, especially because your opponent, say you're up against a red deck, is trying to hit you for a lot of damage, and then interrupt can just tell your opponent, do not hit me with a lot of damage. I like that kind of a deck. I think 7 cost 12 is kind of weak, but I think its ability more than makes up for it. Next up is Flambell. Card I really do hope that gets a full art or a parallel rare, but still, I know it's not worth it, but it's cool. Deploy of gain 2 wood. Just, that's all it does. Haven't seen too many wood cards yet. We're going to find out more. Next up is the Flame Cauldron, a 2 cost that states, continuous effect, all of your red pals gain plus 200 power, and an auto effect of whenever a red pal is deployed, you gain 1 wood. So we did see these 2 different arts, and originally, this was the art that was in the demo deck, and later on, this was printed, and we thought that there wasn't going to be 2 different Fox Parks cards. We thought there was only going to be 1, and they replaced the art of this one with the art of this one. But when the game has finally dropped and cards have been revealed, we did find out they actually have multiple different cards with multiple different effects, even if the same pal is the one being featured. So we have Fox Parks, a Toasty Hug, the 4-cost Interrupt with 400 power to strike. Interrupt, obviously very good. People know what I'm doing on that. I like it already. And the other Fox Parks is a 2-cost with the ability Brave. That says whenever it attacks, it gains plus 300 power until the end of the turn. It's a 2-cost 600 whenever it swings. And we have a special gear made for Fox Parks. I like this idea because that means they can bring it out later, but all of the different pals that have like harnesses or riding abilities all have their own, all can have a print of their own card. Fox Parks Harness does state, choose 1 pal, it gets power of plus 200 until the end of the turn, but if its main name is Fox Parks, it instead gains the listed skill until the end of the turn. An auto ability that on attack choose 1 pal. Sorry, it actually says 1 pal, not even just your opponent's, but you can target your own. Choose 1 pal and deal 700 damage. So if you have the Fox Parks that gains the buff of 300 Brave on an attack, you have a 2-cost 300 that swings for plus 300, so it goes to 6, and then you can use Fox Parks Harness to target the same pal you're attacking and poke 700 damage. Remember, all damage is lingering until the end of the battle phase, or the end of the turn. So, if the Fox Parks Harness hits you for 7, then the Fox Parks hits you for 6, it will do 13 total, thus taking out bigger pals with a very small 2-cost pal, and then Fox Parks Harness, since it isn't an equip card, it is just a gear you can tap to use its effect, the gear still sticks around. So you can spend 2 mana on a Fox Parks. If you've had Fox Parks Harness maybe floating around for a few turns, you have 2 mana Fox Parks that can hit for 13. Very good combo. Very small, and that's what most of the deck is, very small pals that go face, into a big swing. So you can clear bigger guys with smaller pals with this. And we got Gobfin Ignis, the Red Hothead, which says all red pals gain 300. That's it. The more red cards that I'm reading, the more I kind of like the idea of the combo-ness of the deck is just boosting damage by a lot. So your opponent just can't stop you and just run over them. We have seen this card. This is Grisbolt, the Rumbling Tank, which states a continuous effect of Assault. This card can attack pals in the stand state. A 7-cost, the magical 7, 1600 with 4 strike. One of the biggest strikes we have seen in a deck that boosts red cost damage by a lot. It also has a lucky trigger. So if you get hit, you might flip this thing and stop damage. It also can do big damage. It can also attack things where your opponent thinks they're safe. It's very good. Very good. 7 is my magic number, apparently, in this game because of the fact that I haven't played the game too extensively yet. So I don't know how well 7 cost into draw is. But the ability to draw, even if you have nothing in hand and you are able to throw this down, maybe you can stall a turn or whatever, and then pay 3, draw 1 card, could be very effective. Especially if you already have things like Interrupt in your hand. Drawing an extra card, even if it uses the rest of your mana, you are still able to use that Interrupt with a draw card. If the draw card is bad, you can just go Interrupt, discard, and then just still block your opponent's attack. But 16 for a 7 cost is super fair. Next up, we're already down to the views. We got Malsanda Lux, the Vanguard Captain, 6 cost 11. We just saw a 7 cost 1600. And now we're seeing a 6 cost, only 1 cost difference for 500 less power. This one does state, though, that you can consume 2 wood to give it plus 500 power. Do you see what they need to mimic a fraction of our power? This guy is only a 6 cost 11, where you have to spend 2 wood to make him 1600. His strike is only 2 and doesn't have lucky, whereas literally the Grizzbolt we just went over... Oh, I scrolled down too far. The Grizzbolt we just went over is 16 for 1 cost higher, with lucky, with 4 strike, with a way of attacking stood pals. It's so good. We're going to keep doing this row, and then we'll go back one. Next, we got this card, which is a super parallel, which does say, consume X amount of wood, assign a pal, deal 500 damage to a pal of your choice, X amount of times, equal to the, probably, it doesn't say it, but it's probably equal to the amount of wood that you got rid of. So it is a 4 cost machine gun. You throw 4 wood away, you take one thing and go blap, it's gone. 1000 defense is also nothing to sneeze at. The pump action shotgun, I think the highest level of the gun that you can use in the game. Auto on deploy, deal 1200 to... Whoa. Deal 1200 damage to all of your opponent's pals, and an action to tap this card to give 1 pal plus 200 power. 7 cost for 12 to board seems a little obnoxious. Wow. So, funny bit that the red characters use a lot of smaller pals to kind of go face and kind of win quick. But at the same time, the counter to red is also red, because if they use a bunch of small guys, you can pump action shotgun and obliterate all of them and then just kind of follow up. Okay. Oh, Pyron got a card. Okay. It's a 6 cost 12. That's it. Probably will see no play. Might be in a starter deck. Ragnarok hasn't been upscaled yet. 6 cost lucky with 1000 power, states on attack, all of your red pals gain plus 500 and strike plus 1 until the end of the turn. Oh, it says choose. Okay, so the text under the card isn't reading the text of the card itself, but it says choose all of your red pals. That's why I was confused. They get plus 500 attack and plus 1 strike. So, if Ragnarok attacks, even if it gets knocked out, all of your other reds get plus 500 attack. For a 6 cost lucky is very powerful. This looks like a totally different art than everything else, but 8 cost Reptyro, or Gorger, I guess. Auto on deploy, gain 3 wood. Action once per turn that you can consume 3 wood to look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 cost 8 or less gear from among them, and then deploy it, and shuffle the rest into your deck. Oh my good golly. So if you have cards that can reshuffle the top of your deck or whatever to put a card on top you want, and then you can rip Reptyro to play its ability to choose out Mr. Shotgun, you can cheat out a shotgun, and it says deploy the card, so you do activate the effect of the pumping action shotgun, deploying it, dealing 12 damage to all of your opponent's pals. Yeah, I'm just going to drop this 8 cost 1500 3 strike in your opponent's face. Then I'm just going to wipe your opponent's board off the face of the map. Oh, and anything that survives probably doesn't have enough to survive an attack from this guy, right? So I'm just going to clear the rest. Or a structure while I'm at it. Oh, this does only say pals, doesn't it? Yeah, so I guess it doesn't hit structures. Eh. Let me go back. We got Ignis Breath. We did go over this in the other video, but I'll go over it again. Quick. Choose a pal, 500 damage. Good early game clear. Joltog, Shocking Yet Innocent, is just a 2-drop 3. Again, good start game card. The Jormuntide Ignis, this card did change from the base demo deck, which you may have seen in the other video. Jormuntide Ignis does have the Savage Lava Dragon as its title, being a 8 cost lucky pal, just like it was before, that has 1700 power instead of 13 with 4 strike, but it's a say that once per turn you can pay 3 souls or discard 2 cards from your hand to restand this card. It is a once per turn effect, so it's before it was discard 1 card and attack again. Now it is discard 2 where the fire typing doesn't have too much draw trigger, so it makes it a little harder. And usually, since it's an 8 cost, you don't have the extra mana to do 8 cost, activate its ability, so you can attack with it immediately twice. So you'll most likely be discarding 2. It does make it a lot more balanced than it was before. But it is still insane because of the fact that it is a lucky. And you can still discard 2 and swing again. Or if you have extra mana, discard, tap 3, swing. 3 cost 500. Again, basic starter deck stuff, but it's not crazy. Might be useful for assigning it to a PAL base, but nothing else. Oh, Kitsune! This is such a forgettable PAL because you never really see it. It says a 5 cost 400 power with 2 strikes, says deploy. Choose up to 1 PAL with cost 7 or more and deal 1200 damage to it. Oh, wow. It balances itself because it instantly can blast 1200 damage onto a very big PAL. So its cost is kind of warranted. I think if it was a 4 cost 4 drop, it would be a little bit, like, significantly better. 5 is a lot, but it also, like, I can see its value there. Maybe like a 1 or 2 drop, but definitely not like something you want to focus on. Next, makeshift handgun. On deploy, choose 1 PAL and deal 500 damage. Action, to rest this card, choose 1 PAL. It gets plus 200 power. A lot of the gears just give plus 200 power in this deck. Or in this archetype. Ruby! It's the Foxparks knockoff. That's how I always saw Ruby, because I found Foxparks first, and then I found Ruby. I'm like, you're the same thing. Brave Sparks set... Brave Sparks, but doesn't have a Brave effect. It has a Serious effect. Serious 400 on a sign. Choose 1 PAL, it gets plus 400. So, when you assign it to one of the furnaces or something, you can give plus 400 to another one of your pals. So, it's meant to be assigned. Single shot rifle. This was in the starter decks as well. On deploy, choose 1 PAL, deal 1500 damage to it. Action, to tap this card, give another PAL plus 200 until the end of your turn. 15 for this is way too high for a 4 cost. Just saying. Spark it. Hazardous contact. 3 cost 400. Says on deploy, choose up to 1 PAL in the standard state and deal 500 damage to it. Okay. 3 drop for 400 that can deal 500 is very good. Oh, look, the stone pickaxe. Rest this card, give 1 PAL plus 200 power, and gain a wood. Very good. Act turn 1, assign 1 PAL, gain 3 wood, draw 1 card. Okay. Suzaku Hellfire Wings sounds pretty awesome. A continuous effect that says when your red card would deal damage other than battle damage to a PAL, deal plus 200 damage. This card's ability as well. Auto, on deploy, choose up to 1 PAL and deal 700 damage. Wait, what? So this guy just boosts all of your fire effect and event cards? So you just deal damage? A shotgun. Okay. It doesn't say that it doesn't stack, so I guess if you had 2 of them, it would stack. Instead of doing plus 200, it ends up doing plus 400. It's very funny because it says that it boosts its own ability. So you deal 700 damage, and its effect boosts that to saying 900 damage. But if you had another Suzaku, they wrote it specifically so that way if you had 2 Suzakus, it would boost another Suzaku. So if I used Hellfire Wings Suzaku first, and then I played another one on a follow-up turn, instead of just doing its base 700, it would do 900 from the Suzaku that's already on the board, and then another 200 for the Suzaku that's getting played. So it hits for 11 after that. So that's pretty cool. The Lucky Pals are so powerful, but obviously that's why you can only have 8 of them in your entire deck, because of how strong they just are. Treasure chest found. This was in the most recent video, actually. You look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose 1 red structure or gear from among them and add it to your hand, and then shuffle the rest into your deck. But if you chose no cards, you gain 3 wood instead. This is a PAL that says, I think it's Japanese name and not Bushi, because I'm pretty sure that's just Bushi. 5 cost, interrupt, but it also says after this card attacks, you can return it to your That's kind of goated. Yes, it is a 5 cost 800, but it has an interrupt effect, so it can only activate the interrupt effect if it's in your hand. So if you play it, it's not going to do that much. But because you can play it, attack, activate its secondary effect, which says draw, you know, put it back in your hand, you can swing for 800 with it. Maybe it has boosts because of the rest of your board. You can swing for 800 minimum, and then put it back in your hand so that way your opponent knows you have an interrupt, so they have to figure out how to get around it. Mind games. It's also a lucky pal, too. Univolt, Valiant Thunderclap that states 4 drops 6. Wow. Brave, it gets plus 300. Wow. A 4 cost 6 that attacks for 9. I mean, that's kind of good. The weapon, yes, the workbench, yes. We did go over this before, but again, it says consume a wood, assign a pal, deal 800 damage up to 1 pal, and all of your pals get plus 1 strike. Okay, it's red a little weird, because that might just be the creation of the card, but it does allow you to essentially discard 1 wood to assign a pal to it, and then deal 800 damage, and everybody gets plus 1 strike. And again, you can now, with the way the deck is built, there is a super aggro variant and a more control-based variant for red. So I guess you could kind of, depending on what kind of other card, because you can use, of course, 2 different colors in your deck, you can choose which one you want to do more. You know, you could use a more aggro style where you just find a way to draw a bunch of cards. So that way you can just play a bunch of small guys and go face using the strategy to stop your opponent from blocking you. And then just kind of go in. Or you can play a more controlled variant where you can use bigger cards like the lucky variant cards, the Suzaku card, Reptyro, all of which that can get you bigger things, basically cheating out big cards for free. You know, you have Ignis that can swing extra times. You have Reptyro that can summon big free gears like the pump action shotgun, which can on deploy wipe your opponent's board. Comboing the shotgun with Suzaku, you're able to do even more damage, does 1400 damage to all your opponent's pals. So I read kind of can go either way in terms of really quick going face or really slow and more methodically controlled, depending on what you tag it with. We're going to go more into other card types very soon. We have the red going out. And next up, we're going to be showing you guys the updated blue cards in the next video. So I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today.